Hey, what's going on? It's Austin here with the Upswing Report. Welcome back. This channel is all about business, fashion, and lifestyle tips for those of us that are trying to achieve our potential, that are on the upswing in life. So this video is about how to properly trim your beard so that you can look the best possible. There's actually a study done that showed that the most attractive length of hair on a man's face, from baby shaven all the way to a huge kind of big lumberjack beard, is 10-day stubble. And I can try to find the study and link it below in the description. But the way I see it is, as long as you don't mind that 10-day stubble, why not go for it? So this video is all about how to properly trim your beard and keep it trim so it'll look good for that 10-day stubble period. So I'll show you how to trim it up, not only the length on here, but also to shape it up as well, at least my routine and what I do. It's kind of funny, but one of the reasons why I created this video is in the past couple months, two people, random people, asked me, where do I go to get my beard trimmed up? So hopefully this is helpful for you and you can get your beard looking great. I've grown it out for the past week or two just so I can show you guys how to trim it. So let's head over to the mirror and we'll get right into it. All right, so my camera died, so I'm using my phone right now to record this. So hopefully the quality looks okay. So hopefully you'll follow along and you'll find this to be helpful. So the first thing that I do when I'm looking to trim up my beard is to use my beard trimmers. So the beard trimmer that I have is a Remington. I can leave the link in the description below. I'm pretty sure it's about 20 bucks, give or take, for this thing, so it's relatively inexpensive, and I find that it does the job really well. There are a bunch of different settings, if you can't see here, on the guard to basically raise or lower how much you want to be taken off. And normally what I find is about number 4 for me, for that 10-day stubble look, is the right length. So you can always start out with, go to 6 or maybe even 8 just to try, just because obviously if you overdo it, that's gonna, in terms of cutting it too short, you can't grow it back. But if you go over and you're like, oh, I need more, then you can just go to 4. So basically, and I'll fast forward the footage here, but I'll go to 4 and I'll just go over it and just kind of get everything, go up like this, like this, like this. And then that's the main step. And then the other last step is just to shape up kind of the jawline and then up here on my cheekbones. And that's pretty much it. So it's pretty simple, but we'll just go step by step so you can see the whole process. A side note, or a side tip, I guess, is when I am trimming my beard, I will usually get a paper towel or a toilet paper and wipe up all the hair in my sink so it's not gonna be going down my drain, and I'll just throw that away either in the toilet or I'll throw it away in the garbage. Just it seems to, be a cleaner way to go about it, as opposed to just like trying to go make everything go down the drain. I went through and trimmed up the beard. It's not a big deal if you are doing this with or before or after a shower. But in the next part, when we're going to be kind of trimming up with a razor, generally just because your pores will be more open after a hot shower or bath, you'd want to ideally do that. This main process of trimming down, I do probably realistically, 2 to 3 times per month. But and this is kind of the key factor to make your grooming look a lot more tight, is when you're basically shaving your neck and your cheekbones. That's gonna happen I do every 3 to 4 days, so a couple times a week, a lot more frequent, because this length right here can go up or down, and it doesn't necessarily look like, okay, if you're 15 days versus 8 days, there's not that big of a gap. But if you let the hairs kind of grow, depending on where you get them on your face, especially on your neck, if you let them go out, that's gonna take away from the accentuation of your jawline here. And so you definitely wanna make sure you keep that trimmed up. And then I'm also gonna go over basically what I do for my mustache. Just keep that trimmed up and kind of the lower part soul patch around your lips. I'm gonna show that as well. I want to make sure that I got everything trimmed up properly. I'll go over it one last time. we are good to go for that. And like I said, for most of the hair, I usually try to just take my trusty dusty toilet paper, get most of the hairs out before I turn on the faucet. I find that it seems to be a much cleaner cleanup process, much more tidy, as opposed to just trying to let everything go down the drain all at once. So that's what I do. You can do whatever the heck you want. Just a little pro tip there. I'm gonna put my hair up in a bun right now because I'm gonna need to be using some water as well as some shaving cream. Now here's a secret tip. I use a safety razor for basically the detailed shaping, and then I use a normal just disposable razor or just a multi-blade razor for the bulk of when I'm trimming my beard. And that's something I found to be really helpful because if you have one of these and you're trying to shape up, it's a little bit less accurate. But for this, I don't really like to use it as a normal full shaver, so I just basically rotate between the two, and I found that to be really helpful. Doing this, generally I do outside of the shower when I get out of the shower, but for this, I'm just gonna kind of wet my skin with some warm water so that it's gonna open up the pores as much as possible so that I won't have any, or mitigate the risks of having any issues with my skin. All right, so there we go. So I just use normal shaving cream, nothing crazy. Sometimes if I'm at a hotel and I forgot shaving cream or whatnot, I found that conditioner doesn't actually do that bad of a job either. But I'll just go over the main areas right here, and you can always reapply and get the bulk of it kind of lathered up. Now, here's the big thing. Finding the shape that you have on your neck and your face to accentuate your jawline is kind of not an exact science from what I've found. So how I do it personally, I'll take kind of like an eyeball a little bit, but my finger like this, and I'll kind of have it on my jawline just like this, and then I'll go down like this. So it's kind of weird and not, like I said, exact, because my face might be shaped different or is shaped different than your face. But I found that like if you go kind of to the jawline right here and then go down a little bit and just kind of angle it and just go along that line, that should be a pretty good trim. Now what will happen sometimes is you might take too much off or not enough off, but because you're going to be trimming and doing that process every 2 or 3 days, or I guess 2 to 3 times per week, you're going to be able to kind of mold it into the proper shape. And once you have the proper shape, then you're good to go. There was a time where I accidentally kind of went lower and lower and lower on my face here, and then I eventually just had to let it grow out. And so it's not going to be the end of the world if you don't have properly figured out right when you first do it. But that's kind of the eyeball what I do. So like I said before, you always want to do less than going hard in the paint and going right up here and accidentally cutting too much off, because if you go like this and then I look back and think, oh shoot, I should have taken more off. Well, that's a lot easier to do than trying to glue your hair back on, because that don't work. Notice I'm just like slowly kind of moving up and then kind of seeing how things are. So again, going back to here, if I go down like this, I might want to just cut in like this a little bit more. And what I personally found is I like to kind of go in on here, so it's not just like straight across. I kind of like to have a little bit of a U in, I guess. I like to kind of follow my chin, and then that kind of even further accentuates your jawline. So usually I go against the grain or go with the grain, and then I can always go against it like that. So you can see that, and when you pull it down like this, you can see, okay, this is, you know, all scraggly. So I'm gonna go back through. A little bit more shaving cream on my hand here, and I'm gonna go for the safety razor part of it now. So if you put too much lather on, it's kind of hard to see, especially with the safety razor, because, you know, like I said, at this point, it's getting more precision. So I try to not do tons on my face. I'm doing the safety razor part of it, but you can kind of like, you know, get real close on the edge. And I think that this really just kind of gives you that extra edge that people think like, oh wow, this guy went to the barber. He must have gotten, you know, some barber to get his face figured out. But you know, between you and me, we're doing it ourselves. So I usually don't put, I don't know why I just did that. Stupid. I don't know, I don't usually put shaving cream on like my lip line. Especially after you get out of the shower, it's like less brittle. I'll just kind of go along like this. See if there's any extra hairs, and I'll kind of like comb them down with my finger. And kind of work on those. I get them in the corner too. So I'll just do a little quick trim on that. And also kind of trim up the soul patch a little bit here. Just get some scraggly hairs around here. But yeah, so. And this is taking a lot longer than it normally takes. Like I said, you know, once you get it kind of shaped up in the right way, it's just, I guess 2 to 3 times a month you're gonna go back over with the trimmer like that. This is gonna be a more common thing that you're gonna be doing, is trimming up the beard. And like I said, I just use this thing for the bulk of it, and then I'll shape up just a little bit more with this. And I probably don't do this every single time. Probably every, you know, 3 out of 4 times I'll use this, but sometimes I won't even use it. So we'll go like this. Honestly, if I shot this video 10 times, I'd probably not have the exact same shaped beard every single time. So it's not like you have to worry too much about, oh shoot, like, you know, the whole finger thing. Like I said, it's kind of it's definitely an art, not a science. You kind of got to figure out what your shape of your face and how you want to get it done looks as well. The main point is like, you know, I'm not gonna have a neck beard. It's gonna look nice and trim. One thing here is like on these sides, like right here, you can also like kind of go up a little bit, just to kind of not have it connected to your ear, and just give it again like that clean look that you, almost like you just came fresh out of the barber. So I don't know if you can see it over here, but if I just kind of go through and trim it right here. I'll pull it down too, just again, look at my thing and make sure it's somewhat even. And you know, right after you do it, you might see a little bit of like discrepancies in your line and whatnot, but don't worry about it. Like I said, I've had people approach me saying, hey, you know, who does your beard? Who lines it up? And you know, it's never perfect for me, but especially if you give it a day or two, it'll start to grow out a little bit more, and all those like non-perfect lines will just kind of blend in, and it'll look really good. And if I kind of show a before and after of my face, you'll see how much just pulling that up and trimming it down will look into improving your look. So it's a great thing that you can do. If you do grow out a beard, keep it at that 10-day stubble mark, keep it trimmed up, and it'll look real sexy. Like I said, when I first put the water on my face, it was warm to open up my pores. When you're washing it off, sometimes I'll use lukewarm water, but at the end of it, I'll use cold water to kind of close back my pores, as well as an aftershave. And I'll also use a towel to
used to be patting dry my face, so I'm not rubbing my face and messing up my skin and my complexion. Now I might use that cold water. Kind of close them up a little bit. And then I will use some sort of aftershave. This aftershave you get at CVS or on Amazon. I can leave a link below in the description. It has a little caffeine in it, and I feel like it has a little bit of a tingle to it, but also, you know, the caffeine, I don't know if it does much in terms of, it doesn't like wake you up or anything like that, but it always feels pretty good on my skin, so I like it. I recommend it. So that is pretty much how I keep my beard trim. So that finishes up the video here. As you can see here, it looks pretty darn trim and nice, cleaned up. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Throw in the comments just kind of what your thoughts are on the video. And if you have any other ideas for a video, whether it's business, fashion, or lifestyle related questions that you have, go ahead and DM me on Instagram at the Upswing Report. And what I'll do is I'll get these questions and kind of like this kind of video, probably make a little bit more where I'm in my backdrop in my studio, and I will be answering your questions. I think it'll be a really great way to kind of hear what you guys really care about and what you're interested in, and then you can get my 2 cents on it. So that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.